Good morning, students. Today we are discussing about the knee joint. Knee joint, the competencies are 18.4. Describe and demonstrate the type, articular surfaces, capsule, synovial membrane, ligaments, relations, movements, and muscles involved. Blood supply, nerve supply. What are the bursa around the knee joint? Next, 18.5, explain the anatomical basis of locking and unlocking of the knee joint. 18.6, describe knee joint injuries with its applied anatomy. 18.7, explain anatomical basis of osteoarthritis. These are the specific learning objectives. So next, knee joint, it is the largest and most complex joint of the body. The complexity is the result of the fusion of the three joints in one joint. That is, three joints are mainly here. It is formed by lateral femoral tibial, medial femoral tibial, and femoropatellar joints. These are the three articular surfaces are there. One is the lateral medial and lateral femoral tibial, medial femoral tibial, femoropatellar. These three bones articulates to form a knee joint. Which type of joint it is? It is a compound joint. We can say it is also hinge variety, but not a single. It is a dual, like a one is a compound condylar joint, another one is a saddle variety. The condyles of the femur articulates with the condyles of the tibia to form a condylar variety of the synovial joint. Next, not only this, condyles anterior surface of the femur articulates with the posterior surface of the patella. Also, it form a joint, that is a saddle variety of the joint. So that's why it is called the compound synovial joint of the knee joint. So what are the articular surfaces? See, the knee joint is formed by one is the condyles of the femur, lateral condyle and medial condyles are there. Already we have discussed the osteology. The medial condyle is larger than the lateral condyle. These inferior surface of the femur articulates with the superior surface of the patella. Next, another one, the patella. This patella articulates with the anterior surface of the femur and condyles of the tibia. So here lower end of the femur articulates with the upper end of the tibia, and also anterior surface of the femur lower end, it is articulates with the patella. That's why these are the surfaces make the articular surface in the knee joint. See here the diagram, lower end of the femur, this is the upper end of the tibia. See this articular surface, trochlear surface of the femur. So this lower end of the femur, these two condyles articulates the two condyles of the superior surface of the tibia. Not only this trochlear surface of the femur, anterior surface articulates with the patella. So here patella, lower end of the femur, upper end of the tibia, articulation takes place to form a knee joint. Next, why, how it is the stability gives to the knee joint. So the structural the knee joint is a reliability weak because of the incongruence of the articular surface. So lower end of the tibia, the articular surface, and lower end of the femur articular surface is different. There is between these two articular surface, there is a two meniscus are there. The tibial condyles are too small and shallow to hold the large convex femoral condyles. That's why. See, larger convex of the femoral condyles articulates with the too small, shallow articular surface of the tibia. Next, another one, the muscles and tendons around the knee joint. Not only this, the medial and lateral collateral ligaments also maintain the stability of the knee joint. Next one is the cruciate ligaments. This is very, very important, that maintain the anteroposterior table stability. There is a two cruciate ligaments are there, anterior and posterior. And next is the iliotibial tract. You know that iliotibial tract, how it is forms. tensor fascia lata muscle, the continuation, the iliotibial tract, the fibrous sheet extending lateral surface of the femur and going to reach to the cross the knee joint and reach to the lateral surface of this the patella. Sorry, that is the fibula. So this iliotibial tract helps in stabilizing the partly flexed knee. Next, what are the ligaments give the support to these the knee joints? First is the after capsule, that is a fibrous capsule. Second one is the ligamentum patella, tibial collateral ligament, that is also called the medial ligament, fibular collateral ligament, also called the lateral ligament, oblique popliteal ligament, arcade popliteal ligament, anterior cruciate ligament, and posterior cruciate ligaments, medial menisci and lateral meniscus. And transverse ligaments are two. One is the anterior transverse and posterior transverse. Not only this, and also another meniscofemoral ligament, anterior meniscofemoral ligament and posterior meniscofemoral ligament. These are the 13 ligaments give the support and around the knee joint. See here we can identify here the anterior cruciate ligament. These two are crossing each other. This is the anterior cruciate ligament. This is the posterior cruciate ligament. This is the transverse ligament. These two are the meniscus. This is a medial menisci. This is a lateral menisci. This is a lateral collateral ligament. This is the medial collateral ligament. This is a patellar ligament. So these are the ligaments give the support to this knee joint all around this, the posteriorly, anteriorly, lateral side and middle side of the knee joint. First we discuss the capsule. It is a very thin fibrous sac. It is deficiently anteriorly, where it is replaced by the patella. Next is the ligamentum patella. It is a tendon of insertion of the quadriceps femoris muscle. You know that quadriceps muscles, vastus lateralis, vastus medialis, vastus intermediate, and rectus femoris muscle. These four muscles, where it is reached to the lower one third of the thigh region, it become a tendinous insertion is there. The after reaching to the patella, then it will become a ligamentum patella that's going to reach and inserted at the tibial tuberosity. Next is the tibial or the medial collateral ligament. It is a strong and long. It is a 10 centimeters in length and thick and flat fibrous band. It consists of superficial fibers and deeper fibers are there attaching medial epicondyle of the femur superiorly and inferiorly it is extending to the medial side of the medial condyle of the tibia. And next is the fibular collateral ligament. It is short when compared to the medial side collateral ligament. It is a 5 centimeters length, but it is a cord-like appearance is there. Cord-like. When you are feeling this medial and lateral side collateral ligament is a cord-like ligament. It is above, it is attached to the lateral epicondyle of the femur and just above the popliteal groove. Next, another one, cruciate ligaments. Cruciate means cross each other. These ligaments are the two thick and strong fibrous bands acting as a direct bands union between the femur as well as the tibia. These are present inside the knee joint. So after remove this the knee cap that is a patella, then we can when you have flexed the knee, then we can identify the two cruciate ligaments inside of the knee joint. We can identify the cruciate ligament bands are crossing to each other. That's why it is called, the name is cruciate ligaments. So first we'll discuss the anterior cruciate ligament. This is the band. It is attached to below the anterior part, the superior surface of the tibia. There is, we can identify the intercondylar area is there, irregular area on both sides. Intercondylar area we can identify shallow groove surface is there. So in front of this intercondylar area, this anterior cruciate ligament is attached on the tibia. It is extending posteriorly, that band going to reach to the lateral condyle of the femur medial surface. So it takes attached from the tibia anterior intercondylar area going to reach to the lateral condyle medial surface. So what is the importance to this, the lateral, this the anterior cruciate ligament? When the extension of the knee, this become a tight during the extension and also preventing the anterior dislocations of the femur on the tibia. Next, the posterior cruciate ligament. It is also attached to just posterior to the intercondyle area on the tibia. It is crossing and reach to the late medial condyle of the femur lateral surface. So, anterior cruciate ligament is going to reach to the lateral condyle, and whereas the posterior cruciate ligament going to reach to the medial condyle and lateral surface of the femur. These two are look like a crossing each other like a into mark, and it is while the flexion of the knee joint, this posterior cruciate ligament become a tight and preventing the posterior dislocation on femur on the tibia. See here, this is the anterior cruciate ligament. It takes or attached from the intercondyle area in front and going to reach to the, it obliquely cross, reach to the lateral condyle, medial surface of the femur. Whereas the posterior cruciate ligament, posterior to this intercondyle area and cross and obliquely going to reach to the medial condyle, lateral surface. This is the posterior cruciate ligament. This is the anterior cruciate are made by the fibrous cartilage. So these are look like a crescent shape, semilunar shape, and the rounded shape fibrocartilaginous articular discs are there present between the low end of the femur and upper end of the tibia. They have the thick peripheral borders and thin inner borders are there. These divided into meniscofemoral and upper and lower is the meniscotibial division separates. So each meniscus having the two borders, two surfaces and two ends are there. See here, this is the lateral menisci. It is rounded. It has the two ends. This anterior end, this and posterior end. This is the inner border. This is the outer border of the menisci. This is the superior surface. Below we can identify the inferior surface in the lateral menisci. This is the semilunar shape. We can identify the anterior end, posterior end, inner border, outer border is thick, superior surface and inferior surface of the medial menisci. These two meniscus are acting like a lubricant and shock absorbers between the upper end of the tibia and lower end of the femur. So what is the description? Medial menisci. It is a C-shape or semilunar in shape. It is attached to the middle collateral ligament, more prone to injury, more easy to injury. At the time of the injury, it is more prone to in front. Whereas the lateral menisci, it is a oval shape or otherwise circular shape. It is attached to the tendon of the popliteus muscle. It is less prone to injury. This posterior end of the lateral menisci is attached by the meniscofemoral ligaments. That is the anterior meniscal ligament, that is the ligamentum of the Humphrey, and posterior meniscofemoral ligament, we can also call the ligament of the Brisberg. These are we can identify posteriorly or when you're doing the dissection of the floor of the popliteal fossa, we can identify this the ligament meniscofemoral ligament and also that is the anterior meniscofemoral ligament, posterior meniscofemoral ligaments. What are the functions to know this menisci? See, it is mainly function of this. What is increasing the concavity of the tibial condyles? Already I told this the articular surface is lesser than the condyles of the femur. That's why this menisci are increasing the concavity of the tibial condyles for better congruence with the femoral condyles. One point, and also acting like a lubricants in the joint cavity and also acting shock absorbers to protect the articular cartilages during the weight transmission. And also another ligament, oblique popliteal ligament. This is a ligament extending from the semimembranous muscle. You know that semimembranous muscle is going to insertion at the medial condyle of the femur, sorry, middle condyle of the tibia, posterior surface, there is a groove is there, groove for the semimembranous muscle. From there, this ligament is extending obliquely, it is enter into the this knee joint. Next, arcade popliteal ligament, it is a Y-shaped fibrous band. Next, last is the transverse ligaments. There is a transverse ligaments are attaching the anterior horn of the lateral menisci, anterior horn of the medial menisci. These two types are there, anterior transverse ligament and posterior transverse ligaments are there. These are the ligaments attached and give the support to the knee joint. See here, anterior cruciate ligament, posterior cruciate ligament. These are the menisci. This is a meniscofemoral ligament, that is, and this is the posterior horn of the lateral menisci give the attachment of this meniscofemoral ligament. If this is the, that is the medial collateral ligament, this is the lateral collateral ligaments. Synovial membrane. The synovial membrane of the knee joint lines the capsule inside except posteriorly, where it is replaced forward by the cruciate ligaments, forming a common covering of the both the ligaments. That is the synovial membrane. It is inside of the synovial, inside of the capsule. We can identify that produce the synovial fluid and give the lubrication inside of the synovial joint, that is a knee joint. Next, not only these ligaments, and also we can identify 13 bursas. So already you know the bursa. What is bursa? Your subacromial bursa. You are studied. You are seen that subacromial bursa importance. Here around the knee joint, we can identify the 13 bursas are there. These 13 are 4 are anterior to this knee joint, 4 are lateral, 4 are medial, and 3 are posteriorly. We can identify the around the knee joint. First, anterior bursa. See this anterior bursa just below the skin, subcutaneous prepatellar bursa and subcutaneous intrapatellar bursa. So subcutaneous below the skin, after remove the skin, we can identify above the patella and below the patella subcutaneous infra and prepatellar bursas we can identify. Next, the deep to this patella also we can identify the deep infrapatellar bursa and suprapatellar bursas are there. These are 4 bursas we can identify in the anteriorly. See, this is a subcutaneous superior and subcutaneous infrapatellar, deep suprapatellar and infrapatellar bursas anteriorly presents. Whereas the lateral side, we can identify the 4 bursas just lateral head of the gastrocnemius, just lift it the lateral head of the gastrocnemius. We can identify the 1 bursa. Another one is the fibular collateral ligament and biceps femoris muscles, where it is insertion. There we can identify the bursa lateral side. Another one between the fibular collateral ligament and also popliteus tendon. Next, fourth one is tendon of the popliteus and the lateral condyle of the tibia. These are the 4 bursas we can identify in the lateral surface of the knee joint. See here, we can identify the bicep. This is the biceps bursas are there. Whereas the medial side, we can identify the only 3 bursas. That is the where the sartorius, gracilis, semitendinous muscle and tibial collateral ligament is there insertion. There we can identify these bursas medial side. Another one is the semimembranous muscle, semitendinous muscle, where it is insertion. There also we can identify the another 2 bursas in the medial surface. Whereas the posterior side, we can identify the 2 bursas, that is between the lateral head of the gastrocnemius, between the capsule, and between the middle head of the gastrocnemius and capsule of the this knee joint. So like this, we can identify the 13 bursas around the knee joints. So the bursa topic is very important. Circular relation, that is what is the anteriorly relation? Anterior bursas are there, ligamentum patella and patellar plexus. This patellar plexus found by the femoral nerve continuation. Next, whereas the posteriorly we can identify around the knee joint in the middle popliteal vessels and tibial nerve. So there is a popliteal fossa contents. Posterolaterally, lateral head of the gastrocnemius and plantar is common peroneal. Now posterolaterally, and posteromedially by the gastrocnemius muscle, semimembranous and muscle, and gracilis muscles relation with this knee joint in the posteriorly. Whereas the medially, sartorius muscle, gracilis, and semitendinous, great saphenous vein and great saphenous nerves are relation with the medially, whereas the lateral side, biceps femoris muscle and tendon origin of the popliteus muscles. So these are the muscular relation anteriorly, posteriorly, lateral side, and medial side to the knee joint. So see here, we can identify anteriorly patellar bursa, ligamentum patella, posteriorly these are the neurovascular bundle, gastrocnemius lateral head and medial head, and lateral side we can tendon of the biceps femoris and fibular collateral ligament, tendon of the popliteus. Whereas the medial side we can identify saphenous nerve, saphenous vein, and sartorius muscle. We can identify at the posteromedially. These are the muscular relation to the knee joint, ligaments, bursas around the knee joint. Stay at home, stay safe. Thank you. Remaining part of the blood supply, nerve supply, applied anatomy, we'll discuss in the next class, knee joint 2. Thank you.